We're shaking, people. Back with another reaction, back with some more acid techno, and we're back with some more vintage era, like golden era acid techno. And in fact, I'm back to react to a tune I already reacted to on my old channel, but as I keep mentioning, the videos that I retrieved from my old channel before I was forced to come over here and start a new channel, they were compressed by YouTube, both the video and the audio. Now the video, who cares, but the audio, I feel like there's so many tunes that I reacted to that are just classic and excellent and, you know, sonically dense and creative, and they just deserve to be heard at the best possible bit rate available. So yeah, I wanted to redo this one, and also, you know, some of my older videos I was very verbose, and it wasn't even so much that I was verbose. What I used to do is I would stop the tune if I wanted to make a comment rather than just kind of finding a moment to talk while it's still playing. So I would start a tune and it wouldn't finish until like 13 minutes later, even though the track itself is only, say, like 7 minutes. So I try to avoid doing that these days. So nevertheless, we're going to listen to a tune by Cosmic Trigger. This is a sort of group from back in the day. They made 3 original releases, and then there were 2 remix vinyls later. But it's a group: Chris Liberator, Dave LaLouche, or Dave DDR, and then Paul Harding, who I don't know a whole lot about, but I know that, like, there's some Chalky's Tunes releases that he was involved in. I think some cases as a producer, maybe in other cases as an engineer. But yeah, he does show up in some other places in the Stay Up Forever world. There's some Stay Up Forever remix vinyl where I think he's on one of the mixes, again, either as a producer or an engineer, maybe both. But yeah, so that's who Cosmic Trigger is: Chris Liberator, Dave DDR, and Paul Harding. As I said, they put out 3 releases. This is the 3rd of the 3. It's Stay Up Forever number 34. And this one, the tune we're going to listen to, and the name of the release, at least as it's listed on Discogs and some other places, is The Oracle. And this tune, I just really love the sound. It has that classic old school, like warm London acid feel. It also, to my mind, is one of those tunes that's kind of in that mid-90s, like, yeah, it's acid techno, but it has like a flavor that you could maybe use it in an acid trance set. So yeah, I really do love this one. But yeah, let's get to it. This is Cosmic Trigger, The Oracle, from Stay Up Forever number 34, 1997. And someone, when I did the reaction on my old channel, they mentioned, like, wow, you know, I never knew this one back in the day. I think she was saying, like, you know, she knew the artist but hadn't been familiar with this track, and then once she heard this reaction, she went and, like, did a proper listen to the tune itself. And yeah, I love that. You know, part of the reason I started doing reactions at all, originally only for electronic music, is because I felt like there's so many artists, so many labels, so many tunes that people deserve to hear. We should be talking about. They should be celebrated. People should go to Discogs and keep buying them. So when I hear that, like, there's been some cases of people doing that, and that wasn't the only time. There's been a few times where people have said, hey, you know what, I went and bought a copy of that record that you reacted to. It makes me so happy. By the way, listen to that ripping acid stab. Like, it's like an acid beast, like, roaring. Woof. That deep. Like the pace. Kind of 90s pace. But in a good range that, like, you can spin this at a faster set, you can pitch it up a bit, you can pitch it down a little bit. It's like, the default is in a good range, is what I'm saying. Hey, little dead pause, that acid roar, drop it back in, and now with some very, like clangy sort of upper percussion. Acid transformer layer, like, waving its way in. acid transformer just kicked up a level. Didn't realize we were redlining. Energetic, warm, like enthusiastic, ecstatic. Cymbals smashing their way in. Love that sort of mechanical, like electronic machine buzzing away sort of atmosphere. But also turning the temp down a bit. Transformers going into a more standby state. Notice the way, like, out of the breakdown, it's sort of this, you know, lower energy, yeah, it's a delayed, extended drop, right? Comes in low energy and it builds back up, rather than, like, building in the breakdown to a massive, like, energy drop. The transformers keying up again, levels coming back up. That little flourish. Give the electricity. It's like a triangle or like a very high sort of percussive element. And now the full flowering, the full flourishing. It's another one of those lobster bake tunes. Like it just levels and levels, and the fact that there's multiple acid lines sort of doing work independently, but also blending into this like texture and acid whole. Transformer layer on fire. And the acid growl, sort of that steady acid growl layer, is still doing work. But the transformer layer is the star now, like singing out high. Did I mention high? Yeah, you can't sustain that for too long without like overheating the whole system. Like quick de-escalation though, right? Like the boilers are turned off very quickly. But it's a long, it's like more than a minute left, like minute and a half left. I don't remember remember what I said about the outro last time, but it's one of those interesting ones because like the way there's that quick drop off of energy, so yeah, it would lead you to conclude, I was about to say, that they might reintroduce some elements before we're fully gone. And you hear that, the deep acid gurgle, which is now covered a little bit by the loud like growl again, but it was like the structure in this one is cheeky. I like it. It's like a bit eccentric in a good way. So by this point, yeah, you would have wanted to, if you weren't double dropping that whole time, just before that last measure break, you would have wanted to have your new track bring in the kick, hopefully. Or maybe you have a soft mix, maybe your incoming record has like a atmospheric sample. One more. And you can hang that all the way over a double drop. Yeah, love it. It's brilliant. Again, I don't remember exactly what I said about the tune in my last reaction to it on my old channel, but this remains one of my very favorite from Stay Up Forever. It just really captures that mid-90s London acid techno sound, which I mentioned before, you know, the original labels that sort of introduced me to that sound and that I fell in love with and which still characterize my very favorite techno and acid techno labels to this day. Stay Up Forever, Smitten, and Rootmaster. Those three, you know, a lot of their tunes were on these early compilations that I got in like late 96, early 97. And yeah, like I just continue to love these tunes. Now this tune in particular wasn't on one of the compilations I'm talking about, but after discovering Stay Up Forever, I discovered many other records in their excellent catalog. And yeah, I got this one maybe not super early on. It might have been early 2000s, maybe like 01, 02, but I do believe I got it in a record store before I started using Discogs. Started using Discogs 04, and originally it was just to find like a couple records that I had learned the name of, which was another thing back in the day, like for all you young whippersnappers out there, you know, before we really had the internet, and like when you were going to parties in the 90s, I know the internet was already like around to a certain extent, but you know, I didn't really start using it in like significant quantity until the early 2000s. And so like at first it was like you'd hear a tune at a party and it was like maybe you kind of heard the vocal, but you kind of like the mangled sample, like you didn't quite understand it right, and you ask around, no, I don't know the tune you're thinking about, and oh, it has this synth that sounds like this, and like, no, I don't know the tune you're talking about. And then again, like through hard to find records and satellite and some of these like websites that were prominent in the early days, bangingtunes.com, you know, you'd end up finding like, oh, that's what that tune is called. And then Discogs, you know, when I discovered that, it was, you know, I'm not going to say it was life-changing, but it was a very significant thing, and I was able to track down a bunch of old records that I had always wanted. I do think I got this one before. I do think this was in a physical record shop. I used to go to a lot of those here in California, you know, every once in a while. The last time I went to one, I think it was like 3 years ago, so it's been a little while, but the reality is, you know, I get records, a lot of records from overseas, because a lot of what I buy is acid techno made from overseas. So anyway, let me know what you think about this tune. As I mentioned, there was someone who commented on the old video, so yeah, there's definitely some people out there who still appreciate this one. I'm going to come back for one of the remixes, but let me know what you think. Thank you for listening and watching. I do appreciate it. Have a good day, have a good night, and I will see you next time. Peace.